Do you remember there was a time, and it was in August, and everything was just fitting for the Bears, all right? Rodgers is gone, and everything in the Bears in terms of their personnel is just working. Like Tremaine Edmonds paid a bunch of money. He's going to be a monster at middle linebacker. And we paid Cole Kmet, and he's going to jump up to be a playmaker. This tackle we drafted, Darnell Wright from Tennessee, is a mauler. He's finishing plays in camp, and this is going to be great. And we're doing the DJ, blah, 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 blah. It all made sense. And some people, I don't want to sling mud here, but blowhards in the media were talking about it.
There is a juice here. Last year is dead and buried. To hell with it. You step on this campus right here, there are new guys, there is new energy, and so much of it is about the headliners. Number 1 to number 2. The Justin Fields, the DJ Moore thing has been lightning already. There is electricity on this campus right now. Bears-Packers week 1, guys. This Bears team will be ready, and they are very, very talented.
They got destroyed by the Packers week 1. It was never a game. It was over in 5 minutes. After I finished that, the George Halas statue fell over on the front of Halas Hall, and they're still trying to pick it up. I love you guys. I love the organization. It's just been bitterly, bitterly disappointing. And, the Denver thing is like, all right, so a new head coach came in. You don't really know how that's going to change. We got so many new players going for you in Chicago, and it's the second year, and it's defense and the same coordinator. Like, you just check all those boxes. Same coordinator. Yeah, the defense is settling in. We did this, we did this. It's just nothing has panned out. There's no one who could have thought it would be 0-3. 0-3 would have seemed laughable, let alone this type of 0-3 in which the games are just not competitive. It's really frustrating. So it's not a positive topic, Peter. I hope they turn it into a positive. But I don't have much to say right now. Does anybody?
No, the Bears are a tough watch, too. If Taylor Swift's not in that stadium, I don't know if anyone's even...
Imagine all the Swifties who watch a football game that wouldn't normally. They must be like, wow, the Bears are terrible. Like, what is this? I thought the NFL was competitive.
No basis for comparison. Just that's what they saw.
That's the first game? They're like, I thought the other team was supposed to score.
Imagine those Swifties who are watching the Bears, and now they get the Jets offense.
Oh, my gosh.
Watch a football. It's not our best product. All right, so Bears was a leap in a lot of faith for people. Like, they lost their last 10 games last year.
Yeah.
The Broncos lost 12 different games by 1 score or less. They were in those games, and they were there, and you think, well, the difference was clock management and psychological stuff with the turns the end of the... You give them a Super Bowl champion coach, and that'll get them over the hump in at least half of those games. What's surprising for me with the Broncos is that they came out week 1, they lost a very strange game at home to the Raiders, where they were winning and then they lost it. Week 2, they were up big on the Commanders, gave away a lead. And then week 3 just fell off a cliff and lost by 50 and gave up 70 points. What's scary to me is that it's not getting any better, it's getting worse. They're going in the wrong direction. So last year when Nathaniel Hackett was the coach, 12 losses by 1 score or less, including a pair of 1-point defeats. And Peyton obviously came out this summer and said it was one of the worst coached teams. Dude, what are we doing here? If that's the case, we're going in the wrong direction with this one. Now, the positive is that you beat the Bears, you're 1-3. You beat the Jets next week, you're 2-3. You're almost right back there. But I have no confidence they're going to beat the Bears. This defense last week could not stop anything. And, Vance Joseph's a proud guy. Sean Payton's a proud guy. Those defenders, you've got guys like Pat Surtain, who everyone's talking about as the best corner in football. They gave up 70 points. I promise you, Rod Woodson and Deion Sanders never gave up 70 points in a game. So you look at these people, you look at these personalities. The talent is there. The coach is... So surprising, disappointing. I think the Broncos could have won one of those games at home against the Raiders, the Commanders, or at least been competitive against the Dolphins. To be blown out by 50 points, I'm shocked. And it's, as you know, I know Sean Payton very well. I'm shocked they're 0-3 right now. I thought they were going to come out of the gates hot and be a team that no one wanted to face.
Are you surprised?
The opposite.
There was no firings? There was no, we're going to change. We have to do something. Because he came out and said no.
Yeah, he stuck by his guys. And he's taken the 70-point loss on the chin. And he showed a little testiness on Sunday to the local media. And I saw Brandon Stokely had some comments. You don't talk to the national media like you do to the local media. And there's some of that dynamic. I think that's secondary. I think they believe in the guys they got, both on the field and off. But, you don't want to see Garrett Bowles crying at a locker.
Oh, that was tough.
Yeah, it was rough.
I've been here 7 years. All I've ever done is lost. It sucks.
It's rough.
We're still in September, guys.
Yeah.
It's 100% the Broncos and Sean Payton. And to your point, I don't think you fire any right. Like, these are the people you went out and got, and they're only 3 weeks into the season, so there's a lot going on. But, Kyle, I took your advice when answering this question. You always look to the quarterback and the head coach. And with the Denver Broncos, you have a quarterback who has won a Super Bowl and a head coach who has won a Super Bowl. When Sean Payton got to New Orleans Saints back in 2006, they were 3-0 to start the season. They ended up playing in the NFC Championship game. So I think when he walks in, he's a made man. He was highly coveted. They traded away a first and a second round draft pick to get Sean Payton to be their head coach. It wasn't just he was a free agent. You went and all right, you did your interviews. Like, no, you had to give up something to get him to be your head coach. And I've been a part of organizations when head coaches come in, and it's a whole process. The guy before, he puts up all of his signs and his do your job, his trust, and it's be a pro, and there's a Super Bowl trophy, all of this stuff. The next guy comes in and is like, oh, this guy was trash, worst coach. Takes all his signs down, he puts his up, culture, and all the same things, just synonyms of all the same words. But when Sean Payton walks in the door, it's different, though, because it's not like there's this hotshot coordinator that came over where he had a quarterback who was one of the best in the league and one of the best wide receivers. It's like, all right, well, he was behind McVay, so let's see what he really has. When Sean Payton shows up, it's just like, all right, he's done it. Like, we're going to listen to him. We're buying in right away. And to your point, Strix, we just haven't seen any results. That last game of seeing absolutely no fight from a team is, like, to me, that's a reflection of the coaching there of guys knowing that I have to perform, or when I show up on Monday, I'm losing my job. Something's going to happen, and we haven't seen that from the Broncos so far.
It is the Broncos, but I think a lot of it is because the expectation for the Bears from last season was still, to me, basement level stuff. And I get that Kool-Aid that you drink when you show up at a training camp and you see the energy.
It's the best.
Especially, it's very intoxicating. I just didn't drink the Kool-Aid for the Broncos over the summer because it wasn't as bad as I thought it was to make a head coaching change, but I was really off-put by what Sean Payton said about Nathaniel Hackett. It just still has not sat right with me ever since I heard it. I don't like the things that Sean Payton has said, even about his team, proclaiming we're going to go to the playoffs right away. It's like, I understand that could be for morale. Put that on your poster then in the locker room. To say it out loud, to be followed up by the fact that you just called out the previous regime for being the worst job, you are setting a very specific standard, Sean Payton, that you are now going to be held to that standard, and it's not pretty. I mean, 70 points to be allowed is not an even offensive defense route. That is a systematic problem to go up and lose a game like that. I am also curious for the Russell Wilson experience. And is anyone calling Pete Carroll to be like, how do we do this? How do we untap? Because we have not seen a Russell Wilson that we expected that he got paid for in years. We have not seen this. And it was Darrell Bevell was the offensive coordinator, Peter, when he was in Seattle.
Amongst others.
Now the passing game coordinator for the Dolphins. And look what the Dolphins are doing this season. So, like, are we calling up Darrell Bevell to be like, how do we handle this? How do we get Russell Wilson back on track?
Picturing Sean Payton being asked, can you call up Darrell Bevell for advice?
Someone's got to know.
I think Sean Payton would laugh and say,
I don't think Pete and Russ's relationship ended that well either, too. I don't know if he's distributing.
Well, call up somebody that's going to get him in his right mind to be playing differently than he's playing
the
right
criticism
now.
online now is that what is Sean Payton without Drew Brees?
Right.
And I think they won a lot of games with Teddy Bridgewater and Jameis at the end there and Taysom Hill, and they patched it together. But this is hey, if the Broncos lose to the Bears,
what happens?
There's some real look in the mirror stuff. Like, what was this experiment from the start? Like, you can't lose to the Bears, even if it's in Soldier Field.
I'm looking at, like, when is the Sean Payton explosion going to happen?
Right.
Last week was just this little pre-tremor. He was just annoyed, and they gave up 70 points. Actually, it could have been way worse. I mean, if you lose to Chicago and Justin Fields is running around making plays, and now you're 0-4, like, what are we doing?
Even from Broncos management standpoint, you bring Sean Payton over, and I'm sure you listen to everything he says, and you're all bought in. Like, hey, whatever you need, like, if you're looking at 0-4 and the way it's transpired,
what we just hired?
What are we doing?
The financial commitment to the coach and the quarterback in this specific setting is remarkable, too. It's long and it's expensive.
That's true.
I'll go one more here. What if Justin Fields can't move the ball against this Broncos defense?
Yeah.
Right.
After they just give up 70.
Right.
Listen, last year, the reason we all bought in is because he was like one of the best shows in the world. They lost 10 in a row, but every week you got to show up and see what Fields is doing. This year, you turn it on, and he drops back to pass. He is indecisive, joyless, tight, Like, it doesn't resemble even 2022 Justin Fields. And so I think it just still goes back to robotic and the coaching. I've said from the second that happened, that's the most candid thing he's ever said. It's maybe the only candid thing he's ever said.
And he went back and doubled back and said, I didn't mean to say it.
See, that's BS. That's posturing. That was him being like, wait, I need to change it. The first one was the one I liked, where the coaching is annoying me. He didn't say annoying, but there was an intimation. There's too much coaching. I feel robotic. He looks robotic. So, God, it's almost like you're like, Justin, just run around. Just do anything other than stand there and then throw it to nobody. I don't know. I think the Broncos are going to win the game. I do.
For two winless teams, incredibly watchable and enticing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know you've got Dolphins, Bills, and you've got Cowboys, Commanders.
I wanna
but
see this game.
Not Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to be tuning into this one too.
I know, so am I.
All right, this has combustible.
Very good. Very good.